Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Nice.
I got to read about your bio, and a very, very interesting story. And I love your music, and it's very hip hop and old school. It's a great sound. I felt like it was really good to just check out your music. But I'm so curious about just your growing up and, starting from when you were a child, like what was that like growing up? And because I always say that, our childhood shapes our trajectory and where we're going in life, kind of like it's the start of everything. So tell me a little about your childhood and like growing up in Brooklyn, and how did you find your way into that, that world of rap and hip hop?
Well, I grew up in a very, very raw time, coming from the 80s crack epidemic. So it's a very serious, growth and development between, the culture and, esotericalism, and prudential living. So, it's definitely a serious experience to understand from its development from times. So, my youth was very, very simple. I didn't grow up without, parents. So, I was forced to move at a young age, but I did develop a, very wholesome lifestyle with friends and, a lot of development with people that I cared about, who I was at a youth, and shared views, develop a perspective in other means. But it wasn't harsh. It's just very well observed, very understanding, because it's about a very serious agro-obsessed culture. And I have to understand these roots at an age where it's very, very serious for all young adults to understand culture and racism.
Yeah, and I think about that. It's like, Brooklyn. I think when I think about Brooklyn, I think about, all the best rappers come from there. Like it's super, like you got your Biggie Smalls, Lil Kim. Is it Jay-Z? It was so many people, and I'm sure like that history just still, and then, making it out of that and not being a part of like letting the circumstances affect you, but still making music and, getting it out there. I commend you. Do you feel like that like hip hop world has changed since, all, those kind of people coming up to where it is now?
It was a serious development for hip hop to come to where it is now. Never mind selling millions of dollars of records, platinum record sales double, triple. It's a serious for them to develop that class no more than where they can find it. So it's serious to understand where to go with hip hop now, no more than, racism, treating its pejoratives for an understanding of a impersonified, individual or, artist with that same credible value. So it's tough. It's tough. I wouldn't know where to go with it either, no more than how well it became for the fundamentals. You can actually sell records for just having great talent. And I think that's a great thing for hip hop and its youth also. So I wouldn't change anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Do like tell me a little bit about your recent, release, Keef Yards. I'm very curious about that, and then the process of making that, and like I always wonder when a creative is creating something, like where does that come, what, what are you like, were you inspired by something to make it, or like what was the process?
Well, the culture grows with it with a harmony. It always hits different. There was times when people get shot for like a wrong look. Now
Mm-hmm.
people look asking questions. I think it's an interesting thing to see that development happen. So that rawness. So it was funny for me to see it now, no more than understand the G prospect of urban class, to see themselves in that reflection for its order. So when they see each other and they feel that skeptical, never mind, engagement, it's a funny, compassion you could have for each other when you want to represent culture at its most finest. So it wouldn't be any different from how I looked at it with music, especially making Keef Yards. So I mean, it's about knowing it's a haven. It's a class that's there now. We have to respect it. It's you know, regardless of what changes, we have to respect the people that are forth and that's how the inspiration happens for me to write the records.
Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking to that conversation, and then, opening up that, I think that's what creatives do, right? Shining a light on things and having that conversation, because I mean, even myself, I'm not in the music world. I'm more film. So I have a film background. So I do it visually and I tell stories that way, things that, that are going on and that, no one wants to talk about. I feel like we have to talk about these things to kind of understand how do we get better or continue to, I don't know, move into a different direction as time goes on, because, the world we live in today is changing rapidly. And, I just
Very
wonder
much.
with music, right? I mean, because I'm, with the music now, it's just everything's just the same. No one's really talking about stuff. It's all about money, girls, which I get it, it's fun. But eh, how do we
Uh, we,
change that?
how do we change it?
Yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I just know the oversaturated lyricism has always been a thing since, the get rich or die trying days. Those were serious.
Hmm.
I mean, the defiance of the black male was always like a keen subject because we're always evolving, always changing, always moving forward, always progressing. And the conscious black male in that same, midst is a series, objective for culture's sensitivities. So, a change in the music and a change in the culture. I mean, it's definitely a greater content, but I don't think there should be any change no more than the reinvention of hip hop music, or maybe even a gift in a lane.
Hmm.
Like just make sure we maintain the culture and the essence, understanding good and classic fundamental music. People love hip hop music. You don't want to make it seem like it's an occupation
I
and not
see.
something or some sort of like gift or for prospect of belief. We already had great leaders of hip hop music, no more than where it becomes conventional of black culture. So for it to be represented in any other form, it couldn't be you know any risk, but like just definitely an altering thing. I like to make sure that it's it completely nourished for its essential value.
No, I agree. I totally understand that. And I mean, it's a great point. I mean, definitely, you know, um, what what do you think hip hop, when you think about the word hip hop, what do you think, what does it stand for you? What does it mean to you?
Hip hop is a culture, no more than art of a reflection of self. So I couldn't think hip hop no more than how I venture my all my pain, my emotions, strides, and anything I can believe in. I make sure that it's entitled to that same value for its representation. And for it to be represented with everyone else is a difficult thing also, because I know the changes are much more faster than the stand itself. So
Mm-hmm.
anything's possible with that. No more than understanding, its sources for its belief to be concrete. So my thoughts on hip hop is no, it should stay the same, and nothing should never move from how it has been. As long as it stays powerful, and it influences and inspires the youth like it always has my youth. I don't want it to move anywhere to how it could progress.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely I mean, it's forever changing, right? Because as time goes on, you have new artists, new thinkers that come and are coming out and making music. I mean, we still have, I mean, the fact that you got your P. Diddy's is still around that are, adapting to the new wave of music and how it is. I mean, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see.
Money talks. Money talks. Money
Yeah.
talks is definitely the same. You can't move from that. I mean, like I said, it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. So, make a way or get out. So
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, what do you want people to walk away with like when they hear your music? What's your goal?
the conscience speaks. I think that's one of those personal developments that I understood through my music. Um, you know, uh, a high level rap is another development of class that I understood that I'd like people to reflect on also. Appreciation of the culture and all in the art and value. Like I like that to be appreciated also, because I never changed my music since the new age of music. I just knew that it was much more personal for me to understand the culture, what it should do, no matter what I have done for it. So
Right.
I'm saying, just keep it golden.
I love that it's never changed for you. That's good. Like you've been yourself this entire time. That's absolutely amazing. I think a lot of people feel like they have to change with the times I mean, I don't know. I know the film industry is really tough.
Innovation, my bad. So, innovation and reinvention is always the key assessment to hip hop music. They'll take an old '70s record, they'll break it down and loop it like there's no tomorrow, and they'll compose a great record because they know what they're thinking about. That makes it feel so good and assured that this is the people that it can never fail. So
Oh yeah.
times to change with the technologies and the auto tunes that they use today is really, really fascinating. They really appreciate it, and more than where does it get brought to the culture for it to be best represented. So I just don't want them to feel that hip hop should be degraded more than to be understood. People think about the levels of hip hop and where it should be represented, especially timelessness. They just should never really have it mistaken for what it should be represented for when you're recording these records.
Right.
So I definitely feel that way about you in culture when it changes. Should it be what it is, or should it be more than what it had been? So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I always like to ask this question with every guest, and there's no, wrong answer, but I'm just curious of, your answer. The three levels of influence. Which one would you choose and why? Respect, money, or power?
I have to choose one.
Just one.
Well, uh, respect is always here. That was always an essential thing with people that understand our harmony. Power, comes with the territory of money. But I take money any day, not to be selfish or sound vain of myself. But I understand, personal, dividends and perspective. So I'm not tarnished with anything that involves, self-reflection. I can always just speak my mind, and I can always speak how I think about things, and it'll never be damaged. So when I think about, money, I just like it to be, um, something in gratitude more than just, you know, something to sell for material, regardless of the double standard. I like to be represented. I like to be represented with gratitude more than anything. They'll buy it because they know they love it. It takes that time for appreciation to happen. So, and I'm willing to take those risks also. So, gratitude is always saved for that liberation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good answer. Um, what keeps you going? Like, when there's tough times. I mean, I think we all have them and in life. What keeps you going?
My offspring, my
Mm.
son, my children. I think about them, and I think about what I'm willing to do for them to be safe, well understood, educated, broader with perspective as well as understand, family value. I mean, I'm not trying to, make it a foreshadow or anything. I just know that's how serious I am about the person with my own, like from figure of speech. Like that's from me, that's for me. I will look at my father the same way, like I am him. So, you know, not to give you open arms like that, but like to be seriously be, show forth with, value and love for that. So, my offspring, that's my seeds, my children.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I don't have kids, but I mean, if I had some, I'm sure that would definitely be what drives me when I have, the down times for sure. But yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Best advice that you've ever gotten in your journey that sticks with you even now.
Best advice, uh, what you eat, don't make me shit. Pardon my language. Everybody loves hope. Everybody loves hope. So I just feel like mentioning that sometimes. It provides the nourishment of perspective and, in personality. So like, it creates that value every time. So
I love that. I've never heard of that saying. I'm gonna use that. I like that. That's good.
yeah.
Uh, what are you working on anything right now? Like, is there
I'm still working on my visuals. I'm going.
nice?
I'm in another state right now, but I'm going back to New York and do some more records and visuals for the records that I've been making lately. So um, I'm very tuned in. I'm very excited for the work to be done. I still have my Spotify in the works. I definitely have YouTube. The audio visuals are still up, and definitely SoundCloud with downloads. So definitely tune in with that if you get a chance to. So
That's exciting. The visual I love of like when I don't know, music it's good, but then when you see the visuals with the music, it's like it just kind of, I don't know, takes it to another level of like, oh, like it just hits different. I don't know.
the symmetry always brings the best out of both audio and visual for the music and inspiration. So I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you on that. I get excited all the time,
That's
and I like to make more work. The mixtape, and definitely for the anthology records to be made. Waiting for works with managers and stuff like that, calls. So I'm definitely just orientated right now, just making sure everything's finished for the next projects to come up. So
nice,
tune in.
nice. I'm excited. We definitely will. We definitely will. And I mean, I wish you all the best. And I just love that, what creating, and I love it when you're creating something, it's like your baby and you just put it out to the world. I wonder, we're in such a I also do acting, and I love it too. So my friend is like, why did you want to be an actress? It's such a what do you call it, very judgmental world, and I would think music is too, in a way. Like, you put your art out. Like, how do you feel? Are you like nervous to put it out and wonder what people, like, what they think of it, or you just like
more encouraged than anything. I believe in my music. Like, I would believe in my music more than anything when it comes to, great style and charisma, no more than concept and reason. Morals is always a thing. We got to remember, that, music saves lives.
oh yeah.
In the most, even in its most simple form. I just like it to be represented. I get encouraged all the time. I don't think anybody can tell me different whenever I think about music being out there. So
It is. It really is. It does heal, and
mm-hmm.
and it's very therapeutic. It's like what Kendrick Lamar said on his, when he did the Mr. Morale. And when I listened to it, it was like I felt like I had a therapy session, and it's like he even said that's what it was, like therapy for him. And I love that even a Black man who's mainstream like that is encouraging and having those kind of conversations, because you don't really hear that. So I appreciate you being someone who's not, who's talking about these things, and very vocal and honest about, just life and your journey. I think we need more of that. So kudos to you,
Much
definitely.
appreciated.
Of course. Any advice to anyone that wants to get into this music world, or, get in, become an artist? What advice would that be?
Advice. I couldn't tell you anything that could be motivational more than how they feel for what inspires them the most. But to keep going, keep doing it. Like the little things. I mean, you got records out that talk about things like this also. So I'm forth with that also. Just listen to whatever your heart says. Whatever your heart may lead, get to. That's what brings the paper, brings the fans, that'll bring the love, that'll bring the respectability of everything you do, and that's all I felt like.
I like that. Yeah, keep going. I'm definitely an advocate and a believer of just keeping it going, because if I stopped, years ago, I mean, there's been times where I had the door slammed in my face and told that I had to, I was gonna, in order to get this, I have to do this, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna do it my way, or I'm just not gonna, so you have to keep going, regardless of the obstacles that you face. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
It's not even about anything. It's about the the industrial system. Like, I mean, it's built for this, built to last. So you got to be on that same pace, that same step. You can't let it defeat you no more than what you will your next step to. So, like, really.
What's a good, like, one, like, I mean, I don't know. Have you went somewhere and you had somebody like listen to a song, one of your songs, and like their life was changed, or did they give you feedback on your music and it was just like, whoa, you didn't think that you could reach someone with your, I mean, obviously you can reach people, but like, I guess hearing it is like a different feeling. It's like, oh, I'm actually doing something. I'm putting my art is doing something for someone.
I don't think I've reached that level yet, personally, because I know I've made records enough for people to hear. But I know what my intentions are, with what I'm trying to look for with this message. I know it takes time.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Enjoying music, enjoying the crowd, and enjoying everything that makes of it. So I'm definitely not trying to like let anyone down. I'm just trying to have fun with them and see if they get the vibe for a second first.
Definitely.
Anything else.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you think indie, like I'm considered what you call the indie filmmaker, which I'm more like, I have more of and I've done, mainstream before films, but do you like from your background and in music, do you feel like, I hear a lot of artists, I mean, people, even mainstream artists, we're saying like they're saying indie is better because you have more creative freedom and or creative control over your art versus when you have it like someone they own your rights and all this stuff, so you don't really get to say what you want to say. Like how do you feel about, like, do you prefer indie over mainstream?
It's definitely a one man band theory for the most part. Because you do so much music to mean nothing.
Yeah.
You do so much music, you also miss it. So you know what I mean? It's a serious, plateau in the game that you played, especially when you want to make music for yourself. But never forget, when it comes to music, it's about having a job to do. So when you're not doing anything that says that people can see how they look at you and what you're making music for, you're just doing your job because you know what you got hired for, especially with the major recording labels, because that was the biggest struggle in the 90s and 80s with anyone that got signed with major recording labels that says that, we hired you because you're fly, you got style, you got dope flows, and it's always best represented with people. But we need you to do this, we need you to do that, and people get questioned, especially with the liabilities, of reputation, and that's always a problem until they forget that it's your free will to make music. But that's what I mean to deal with the industrial system, like commissions with a doctor or a lawyer. They have obligations. They have no time to be personal, no more than what they need to represent themselves for. And those are those sacrifices, especially when you pull yourself for that level. But when the payment comes, definitely, like you gotta like understand the levels of where the money comes from and where's a good place. So
Right.
when you have that place, you could definitely be creative as how you came about. And that's always a good thing. And never, not like a blueprint, but definitely should have been a suggestion since the beginning. That's what happens with the Dookie Ropes to 10 chains to 10 black cards. So like as the game progresses, you understand what you got to do with $1 million now.
Yeah.
But definitely, never forget where your head is, where you want to do with music. That's the biggest problem with some artists that didn't think of it no more if they have that kind of concentration. So
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Very good point.
You never lose that. No, never.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, this was good. Thank you. I love talking to you about, music. Listen, I wish you all the best, and definitely have to come on when you get the visuals out, and congratulations on everything that you got going on, and more power to you. Again, thank you so much. And where can people find you on social media so they can follow you?
You're the DJ. You control the show. You make the artist. I've been saying this to the last radio DJ. You always make the show. You make the artist. Don't forget that.
Thank you.
Though.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too. Oh, where can people find you on social media really quick so they can follow you on online and everything?
Find me on YouTube. You can find me on SoundCloud. I definitely got the audio visual. Spotify is going to get loaded up in a bit. So definitely tune in and watch the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.